From CBS Sports, they're with the First Pick podcast. Ryan Wilson, Josh Edwards of CBSSports.com, a mock draft of rounds 2 and 3, making the second and third round picks for the Browns.
So I think having few needs on your roster kind of gives you the luxury of taking the best player available. And to me, that is Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker from Texas A&M. So I would go in that direction. Personally, I didn't think I was going to take a linebacker at this point, but just the way that the board fell, it's kind of tough to pass.
Well, the other thing is this, right? Linebackers feel like running backs in that they are undervalued or overvalued as first round picks. Like, you're not going to take one in the first round, but once you get in the second round, go crazy. I'm going to go Mason Smith. We'll see. I want to see what the running backs look like when we get back at 156, Harry. So now you have Edge Cooper, Mason Smith, 2 defensive picks on a defense that was dominant for much of the season.
So, Tim, you heard him allude to the running backs. He passed on Trey Benson. Like, all of the running backs were available. He ended up going Mason Smith. Defensive tackle, I get it. They also passed on Malachi Corley twice. He was available in the third round, and they passed on him both times. Mason Smith is a guy that I know the Browns visited with. We heard him at the Combine. He's intriguing, a former 5-star kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a, project, I guess. Maybe it's, I know people hear the word project and, there's negative connotations, but I think Smith is kind of the project in the sense that there's such a high ceiling with him. He could still add someone. I think about 305 pounds, and he's only 3 years out of high school, so he's got a lot of time to grow, get stronger. I've said before, defensive tackle is kind of a redshirt position anyway, so why not take a project, a guy who has that kind of athleticism that Mason Smith has? Put him in there, behind the veterans that you have, and just kind of continue to cultivate him behind the sidelines. Behind the scenes, let Jim Schwartz work with him, and let him grow over the next year or two before you kind of unleash him maybe in the second half of 2025 and the 2026. But going to the other pick with Edgerrin Cooper, and I'm going to write this, by the end of this week. 3 hot takes I think I have about what the Browns should do in this draft, and I think we're not talking enough about the linebacker position, because I look at the depth chart right now for linebacker. I mean, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah looks like the only guy I could say for 100% that is probably going to be part of the future going forward. We know there's he could get extended, his contract extended at the end of the season, but after that you got a couple of veterans in there, Jordan Hicks and Devin Bush. After that, there's just a lot of question marks. So why not use a pick, whether it's that second round pick? Maybe Edgerrin Cooper is a guy I like, a true 3-down linebacker to play opposite JOK, and I think he's got the size to complement him. I also like Junior Colson in Michigan in that spot to kind of be in there, but I do think we're not talking enough about linebacker being a position that Andrew Berry should address. I know it's not a premium position. The importance of it has gone down over time, and you maybe play 2 the vast majority of the time, because how many times NFL teams go to 3, 4, 5 receivers. But to have at least another solid young starter potentially who has the ability to play all 3 downs, I think that's something that can't be overlooked in this draft. Is something that I would try to target.